as I pulled into the parking lot here, I could see that there was 4 agents inside in tactical gear.
Becky Ringstrom was arrested by federal immigration officers in Minneapolis on January 29th, but she's a U.S. citizen. Ringstrom says she was in her vehicle watching the officers for 45 minutes as they sat in parked cars in her neighborhood, intending to film them with her phone. When they began to move, she followed. A Border Patrol agent approached and told her she would be arrested if she continued tailing them. She says she stopped following the officers after being warned and was heading home. Minutes later, she says several unmarked vehicles boxed her in. Her subsequent arrest was captured by this bystander video, verified by Reuters.
As soon as I put my car into park, all 4 of those agents quickly came out of their vehicle. I continued to ask if I was under arrest. I told them that I wanted my rights read to me. I asked what I was being charged with, why I was being pulled from the vehicle. None of these questions were answered. They just told me that they were going to extract me from the vehicle.
Ringstrom says officers took her to a federal building downtown. One told her she'd be charged with impeding a law enforcement operation and that her name and photo would be added to a database. Reuters saw a citation the officers gave her, which said a court date was TBD, to be determined. Ringstrom's arrest is part of a broader effort by the Trump administration to clamp down on opponents of immigration and customs enforcement, portraying them as threats to the officers and undermining efforts to arrest immigrants allegedly with criminal records.
They're learning how to scare us. I will never stop believing that what happened on that day was nothing more than them trying to scare us.
2 ICE officials who asked for anonymity to speak to Reuters said the agency has been tracking the names of protesters in an internal database for several months. They say the database contains names, photos, actions that provoked suspicion, locations, and license plates, and that the effort was intended to spot patterns that could lead to charges. U.S. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said DHS does not maintain a database of U.S., quote, domestic terrorists, but does track threats. One of the ICE officials who spoke to Reuters said the agency was referring several people per day in Minnesota alone to federal prosecutors for potential charges over interfering with police operations. And a Reuters review of a legal database found that since the administration launched its series of city-focused crackdowns last summer, it has charged at least 655 people with violating a federal law that criminalizes impeding law enforcement. The Reuters analysis found that's more than double the prosecutions during the same period in 2024 to 2025. McLaughlin, the DHS spokesperson, said Becky Ringstrom, quote, stalked law enforcement and attempted to obstruct law enforcement from performing their sworn duties. She also said U.S. Border Patrol agents at the scene gave Ringstrom lawful commands and warnings, but that she continued to obstruct operations, leading to her arrest.
Okay, yeah, our staff is worried, to have their faces out.
Brenda Lewis is the superintendent of the Fridley Public School District near where Ringstrom was arrested. Lewis believes she and other members of the school board have been followed by ICE officers in unmarked cars after holding a press conference in late January opposing ICE enforcement. Lewis says she patrols schools twice a day to make sure ICE agents don't follow the children to schools or after their dismissal. Reuters rode along with Lewis on a patrol ride in a school district car.
This time of day just makes my stomach hurt, right? So until about 4:30, I feel very nervous, and we're just always on guard.
She had the car pull over when she saw staff members from the Philippines on the side of the road.
Do Salvation Army another day.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just nervous for you guys, okay? And I'll watch you till you get back there.
All right.
Sorry that I said no, but okay. We'll watch you guys till you're back in.
Okay.
Okay, bye. None of this is normal. We have a federal agency who is targeting people based on skin color and targeting people who stand beside people of color and immigrant communities and families.
The Department of Homeland Security denied that ICE would target school employees for criticizing the agency and said, quote, law enforcement actions are based solely on violations of federal law and public safety concerns, not personal views or speech. The Trump administration said last week that it would scale down its surge in Minnesota to 2,000 federal officers, but the deployment remained 3 times bigger than the Minneapolis police force. Lewis says her district has 2,700 students, and that a third of them have been absent since the ICE surge began in Minneapolis. One immigrant family from Honduras living in a local trailer park has largely shut themselves inside their home. They spoke to Reuters on condition their names not be revealed to protect them from arrest. They are all seeking asylum and lack permanent status aside from the youngest, who was born here and is a U.S. citizen. Both parents have stopped going to work. A restaurant where the mother worked closed after ICE arrested a worker. The family relies on help from their children's school and a church with food. The father says it's been hard on his children.
There are no words. There just aren't any. Because seeing your children suffer, wanting to go out for an ice cream, and as a father, even if you want to, you can't. There simply are no words.